Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain. I am your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. This is day 11 of our trek, and today we will look at the 7 columns of Wisdom's House, which provides us a structure for a successful Wisdom Trek. Today I'm recording our podcast from the studios of the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. As we continue living a full and rich life, some days make my head spin. As I'm starting to write this journal for day 11 of this podcast, I am sitting at gate C55 at the Columbus Airport in Ohio and on my way to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Tomorrow I'll be performing a technical software demo for one of our clients. Our many years of working with technology has given me a broad knowledge in this area. This trip hit the schedule on a rather short notice, but I am thankful for the opportunity and skills to fill this role. I have to admit, one of the hurdles of planning, scripting, and recording these daily podcasts has been allocating enough time to produce a quality podcast while balancing a very heavy client schedule. We're always grateful for the varied and rich opportunities of life, although maintaining a balanced life as an entrepreneur is always challenging, but I wouldn't have it any other way. As we share each day, our objective is for you to get to know us on a personal level so that we can not only be your mentor, but also your friend. Please leave your comments or questions if you'd like to get to know us better on any level so that we know each other on this trek of life. We'd also like to get to know you better, so feel free to share with us at wisdom-trek.com/contact us or leave a message on our Facebook page at wisdom-trek. Or you can always email me at guthrie@venturecg.com and I'll personally respond to any inquiries. In our initial 11 episodes, we did the following. First, we established a base camp. Next, we established the purpose for our trek, and we discussed what is needed in order to stay on track towards our destination while still enjoying the journey. Then we laid out the foundation for a successful Wisdom Trek by inspecting the tools needed to assist us in creating a living legacy. If you missed any of the previous podcasts, please go back and review those so they'll catch up on our trek. And today we will build a structure on our foundation by looking at the principles for obtaining wisdom that we need for success. On subsequent podcasts after today, we'll start looking at little separate nuggets of wisdom or topics that we can assist each other as we trek this life together. Some of these nuggets may string together over multiple days, but each trek we will take time to stop and enjoy the scenery as we look at a snapshot of wisdom. As an analogy, think about these wisdom nuggets as our daily nutritional supplements. When taken along with your own life experiences, they will provide you with the nutrients you need to live long and prosper. It is my hope that you have enjoyed our trek as much as I have enjoyed putting them together, and it will continue together each day. Today we want to ask the question, if wisdom were to build a house, what would wisdom's house look like? In the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 1, it indicates that this has happened. It says, "Wisdom has built her house. She has carved out her 7 columns." A basis for 7 columns is that 7 is the number of completion or perfection, so the 7 columns of Wisdom's house shows complete wisdom. As I have studied this, I've asked myself, what are those 7 columns that make up complete wisdom? I've searched for insight on this, both from other philosophers, students of the Bible, and from my own study. Some scholars point back to Proverbs chapter 8 that lists prudence, knowledge, fear of the Lord, counsel, sound wisdom, understanding, and strength. While these are good traits to have, I have settled on the fact that these 7 columns are described in the letter written by James, Christ's half-brother. I came to that conclusion with the realization that if ultimately all good wisdom comes from God, then the 7 columns must be listed in God's Word. Earlier in chapter 3 of James's letter, there is a listing of what wisdom should not be. But starting in verse 17 and in verse 18, the verses show what wisdom should be. And the passage reads, "But wisdom from above is first of all pure. It is also peace-loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. And those who are peacemakers will plant seeds of peace and reap a harvest of righteousness." So let's look at these 7 columns or pillars that wisdom has used to build her house. And as I do so, I want to look down a rabbit trail on our trek, and it's not necessarily from a theological standpoint. I find it interesting that wisdom in Proverbs 9, verse 1 is referred to in the feminine gender. Now, I have certainly come to respect and rely on the wisdom and insight that Paula, my bride of 36 years, has provided to me. And I also never forget the wisdom that my mom, while she was still alive, provided to me. The wisdom nuggets or seeds that Mom planted in me are the foundation for the wisdom fruit that I'm able to harvest in my life today. The 7 columns of Wisdom House are, number 1, first of all, pure. Purity is so lacking in our world today, and yet the first and primary column in Wisdom's houses is first of all pure. Something that is pure is without contaminants. It is not mixed with elements that would compromise its original composition. It is not comprised or polluted in any manner. For us to have the wisdom to create and build a living legacy, we need to purge those things in our lives that would cause us to compromise. We need to have integrity in all areas of our lives. To be pure, we cannot compartmentalize our lives where we are one person at work, another at church, another around friends, and yet another around our close family. The second column is peace-loving. A wise person will love peace. They will be peace with themselves because they are living a life that is pure and they are willing to promote peace to everyone they impact. Listen to the podcast or read the journal of day 4 for more insight on peace. The third column is gentle at all times. A gentle person will be gentle to everyone they interact with and in every situation. It is not reserved for certain people or places. For more insight on gentleness, listen to the podcast on day 9 for more insight. Column number 4, willing to yield to others. Gaining wisdom is not easy, and this is one that is difficult for me, and I am sure that it is for most of you also. We do not like to give in to others. We want to be in charge. We want to call the shots. A wise person knows that the best way to lead others is to serve them. Serving others requires that we yield to our own will for the betterment of others. The 5th column is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. We become wise as we show mercy to others by doing good to and for them. Love in action is being merciful to others by doing what is good. We covered the topic of goodness in podcast number 7 if you want to go back and gain additional insight. The 6th column is to show no favoritism. To show favoritism is not wise. Every person is valuable and can bring value to our lives. To show favoritism to one person or groups of persons is to say that some people are more worthy or special than someone else. While we all have areas of giftedness, just because we are strong in one area does not mean that we should be favored. There are many other areas where we are weak, and we need the compassion of others in those areas. And the 7th column is always sincere. To be sincere is to be authentic or whole. We should not put on a facade in an attempt to impress others. We need to be genuine. Sincere comes from a Greek word which means without wax. The merchants of the Roman world would take pottery with cracks in it and fill those cracks with wax so that they would appear whole. Once a purchaser would get the pottery home and set it in the sun, the wax would melt out and expose those cracks. Our lives need to be sincere or without wax. As we finish our look today at the 7 columns, that is the structure of Wisdom's house, James also exhorts us in verse 18 to be peacemakers by planting the seeds of peace in others so that we will reap a harvest of right living. So the question as we close today, are you planting the seeds of peace in others? That will finish our podcast for today. Tomorrow we will start up the trail and scale new heights and discover the important difference between our clock and our compass. Please check in our camp tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek. Creating a Legacy. Today's free tool is a high-resolution PDF of Wisdom's House of 7 columns to be used as a reminder for each day. It can be found with the other resources on our free resources page on wisdom-trek.com/resources. As always, I encourage you to leave a discussion topic, comment, suggestion, or question about this podcast in the comments form on wisdom-trek.com/day11 or email me at guthrie@venturecg.com and I'll reply right back to you. If you've not done so already, please also subscribe through iTunes, Stitcher, or the podcast player of your choice so that Wisdom Trek will be downloaded to you automatically each day. We also have a subscribe to podcast page on wisdom-trek.com. And something that's very important is to please leave us a rating on each episode and spread the word to everyone you know to join us on our Wisdom Trek. I really thank you for that. And check out wisdom-trek.com for our daily journal, wisdom nuggets, and free resources. As we take this trek together, let us always remember to live abundantly or fully, to love unconditionally, to listen intentionally, to learn continuously, to lend to others generously, to lead with integrity, and to leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy the journey, and create a great day. See you tomorrow.